Today on the channel, the time has come. Series 1 of the Pinnacle collection from Zombie Sailor Toys is through the door, and we kick it off with the madman from the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for something entirely different today, as we got Pinnacle Series 1 from Zombie Sailor Toys, and we've got Abdullah the Butcher. But for all your Pinnacle needs, well, you missed the pre-order at this point. However, they're going to be back out. You know Zombie Sailor will be selling these, and our good friends over there at Jay'sToysAndGames.com, use code Kyle, save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Should have these in stock eventually, not exactly sure. That's going to be the place to go for all your Heels and Faces Pinnacle figures in the future. Check out Jay'sToysAndGames.com. Save yourself 15%. Got to get a deal out there. And you know how we're going to do this review. We're going to do it like we do all the other ones on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. We'll do some comparisons later in this video. And there's going to be a lot of comparisons throughout Series 1 as we're going to unbox all these figures. And at the very end, we're going to rank the entire way from my least favorite to my favorite. A lot of anticipation around these toys here. We've had to wait about a year, which is pretty much the way it goes in most toy lines. It's usually a year wait. It's just what kind of communication do you get in the year wait. We got a lot of communication up till recently on these, but they are finally here. Here we are in March 2026, and I'm very excited for this toy line here. I really have a feeling that between this and the Regium line, we can finally start plugging some holes. And that's what Todd McFarlane always says, we need to plug those holes. And I'm always in for a plugging of a hole. But we're going to plug some holes in our Elite collection, maybe Jazzwares, whatever you want to say. We're going to get some classic characters we can't get for whatever reason from some of the other ones. We're going to get them in this scale, and the time has finally come here today. And I got to say, I'm extremely excited about Abdullah the Butcher, and even more excited that he put him in Series 1. One of the greatest personalities in wrestling history. First time I ever saw him was when I was a very little kid watching WCW NWA with Terry Funk and Cactus Jack, Gary Hart. Just amazing seeing Abdullah Butcher. I've never seen a human that looked like that. And then I've never seen anybody so kind of crazy and violent. And then taking it from there and seeing some of his classic stuff and even stuff after that, just the bloodbaths, the gore. That was a part of wrestling I never knew existed until Abdullah the Butcher. So a fan favorite for a lot of people, maybe not a big good guy, but a lot of people respect the Butcher. You respect the Butcher, and I am one of those. And I cannot wait to see what all the fuss is about with this figure. So without further ado, Pinnacle Series 1 for the first time ever. We'll see what happens here in the future. But here it is, Abdullah the Butcher. Very interesting packaging design on this. Really has hallmarks of the past to our friend Todd McFarlane, as well as other toy lines of the time. McFarlane Toys had a lot of packaging like this with kind of the bubble where it was all locked together. You're not going to get any figure swaps with this one. There's no doubt about it. But we've seen this throughout the years. NECA also had a lot of packaging like this. Now, I got to say, I'm not a huge fan of this, and we'll see. Time will give us the answer, I guess. But we saw with a lot of the NECA, specifically the NECA, and even some of the McFarlane toys, as these figures age, as the packaging ages, we have seen in the past where these become very brittle and it'll chip off. The plastic just breaks. We've also seen in the past yellowing of the bubble. Now, hopefully this is good plastic. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I know I am a scientist. I took over for Beekman and Bill Nye and Mr. Wizard. Yes, it's true, but I'm not sure. I'll have to study it in my laboratory, get the stuff out there. But I'm not sure how well this plastic will hold up in the future. I guess it's just one of those waiting games there. But I do like the looks of this. Very clean. I just wish it came out of the packaging easier. You got to destroy this packaging to get them out. You have to get a blade, run the sides, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're an in-card collector and the plastic holds up, this is going to display beautifully in your collection. I could see somebody having these all lined up on the wall. I wish I had room for it. I'd be a Double Up Club member. But it does look very nice, very professional, very clean in the packaging department, I will say that. Got the J-hook on the top. I am seeing your mileage may vary. I do have some cracks and breaks in the plastic there. Not the end of the world. I'm opening this up anyways. But we got Abby in the package. What you see is what you get. You see a lot of the stuff. Love they gave him the headdress. You got the extra heads. Got a bloody head, regular head, extra hands. A lot of hits being played here. Series 1, ages 18 and up. You 17-year-olds, you can't handle the madman from the Sudan. Abdullah the Butcher, he's number 2 in the series here. Same thing on the other side. And then on the back of the package, very cool, but very smart at the same time. Now, I would have preferred a blurb or some kind of a saying back here. I always love that. I love reading the packaging. We don't have that. I think it's a cost savings thing. As you get the uniform back packaging here, you're showing off the line, cross-sell down below. Always be promoting, and we're promoting what else is in the line. I always love it when companies do that. Collect them all, zombiesailor.com. Looking very, very nice and very sturdy. Heavy-duty plastic, very good here. But I'm going to have to take this offline. I hate to do it, but I'm going to take it offline, get them out of the package. We'll be back talking all things Abdullah the Butcher. All right, let's dive into it. Before we get into the figure, I want to go over some of this other stuff. Now, we did get a little note in the packaging saying, hey, make sure you heat up your joint. So I'm not going to push it too hard on this one, but I'm going to check it out, see if we have to heat them up. We see this with Mythic Legions. We see this with Mondo. We see this with NECA. We see this with a lot of toy lines. So fit in the bill, I guess, is what we're seeing there. We also got a little throw-in flyer here. Series 2 coming. The one-man gang, Shane Douglas, Dino Bravo, Bad News Allen. Heavy hitters, need those to plug some holes in the collection. We also see New Jack on the other side coming as a standalone release. My gut, we know you trust your gut. I think we're speeding up the New Jack release, trying to beat Mattel to the punch. As we'll talk about that here in Series 1, as King Kong Bundy, Brian Pillman have all been not under a Legends deal, coming into a Legends deal, getting figures before these released. So I think Zombie's put his business hat on, saying, I'm going to rush New Jack, try to beat Mattel to the punch. We'll see if that happens or not, but coming very soon. So excited to get some New Jack. Excited for all these. In a lot of ways, this could be classic superstars, but we know we'll have some modern talent in these as well. Have to imagine a Brian Myers. I guess Matt Cardona off the table, but I could see a Brian Myers in the future. Also, just caught my eye before I give it the old see you later. We got Zombie Sailor points down here. Where are those points going? I would love if there was an answer to that, or if it's just like a gag. I'm fine. If it's a gag, let us know, but you might want to hang on to this and save it. I got all my Zombie Sailor points for that rainy day when I might get to use them. Maybe it'll be a plot twist. New Jack, use your Zombie Sailor points. Maybe, maybe not. But let's dive into old Abdullah the Butcher. Very excited to get a new wrestling toy line. Excited to check it out. We got a maniacal hand, a gripping hand, and a fork hand. Got to use the fork hand for Abby, of course, known for his use of the fork. But then we get some hands. I always think of him like as karate hands. He'd always do those like savate thrusts and stuff like that, like a karate guy. Don't see a lot of karate guys look like that, but he had some of that feel to him. Got the taped up hands as well. You know he's hiding those razor blades and those fingers, but looking good. Very maniacal hands over here. Very big hands, especially when you carry them next to a Mattel Elite. These are very big hands here. We're going to check scaling here in a little bit. But let's dive into Abdullah the Butcher, and let's start. Okay, well, he's got his, I guess, neck pillow here. Maybe he was taking a flight and needed to put that on there, but a little extra protection never hurt anybody. See you later, goodbye. Todd, you know what you always say. Always wear protection unless you don't, and that's what we're doing right there with Abby. But we're going to start it off. We do get the headdress here. We've seen these with Sabu historically, the Sheik, the Iron Sheik, Abdullah the Butcher. Makes sense. It is soft plastic, movable plastic. There's two ways to go with things like this. Do you go straight up plastic or do you do soft goods? Me thinking right now, hey, it'd be very cool if he gave us another Abdullah the Butcher as a repaint. Give us the red pants on here. Give us a black version of this, but maybe give it a black version with soft goods. I think that'd be really cool. Make it a convention exclusive or a one-off exclusive. Something like that, I'd be here for that. But I think this would look very good in a black one and then some red pants. Mix it up. I think that'd be cool. Get the most out of your molds. Makes a lot of sense. But I don't got any issues with this. Works really good. Looks really good. Now, diving into the head sculpts here, got to say, they do look absolutely fabulous. This looks really, really good. Once again, I love Abdullah the Butcher. I've studied his face for hours upon hours, Tom and Fran. You wouldn't believe, looking deep into those scars, getting the ruler out, like, okay, it's this deep on this one, and so forth. And the old joke is he could hold quarters in there, too. But they got those beautiful blade scars at the top, looking good. Abby got the very stoic face here, but those are madman eyes. You know he's just thinking bloodlust in this thing. He's like, man, I can't wait to get down to Puerto Rico, see what that Carlos Colon's up to. Can't wait to share some blood with him. You know that's what Abby's thinking. 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, and a mouth. But all day long, and dare I say twice on Sunday, I know that's Abdullah the Butcher. Very good looking head sculpt on that one there. Now the second head here, pretty darn cool as well. He's got the fork in the mouth. You always saw him with the fork in the mouth. It was always interesting how the bottom of the fork was always taped up too. It was always weird how he did that. Maybe to hold on to it better, get a bigger, thicker grip on it, I guess. But man, oh man, this is what I think of a lot of times with Abby, is having that in his mouth. He's fighting in the ring and it's in his mouth and he grabs it out. Starts, forking guys with it. Very cool to see that. Now you got decisions to make here. I don't think you'd use this head with this hand, as he's not in the double up fork club, I don't think. I don't know. Yeah, fork you too, Todd McFarlane. That's what I'm going to say. But it looks good. It's a very similar head to the last one, obviously. You got the crazy eyes, but you got the fork in the mouth. Fork is not removable. So I really appreciate that head. And then this is the head I'm probably going to end up going. This is why I need a second version of this. I'd prefer not to buy the same figure twice. I would love a repaint variant edition, as I'd love to display one with the bloody head. This looks absolutely amazing. This looks like when he took the electric chair at Halloween Havoc. He's got the tongue sticking off to the side. He's got blood all over, which didn't happen at Halloween Havoc. But I love it. And when I think of Abby, I think of him bloody. So very difficult to choose between these three heads. And that's a good problem to have if you're Zombie Sailor. Absolutely love the looks of that head on that one. Very, very cool. Let's see. Head going to be hard to remove, I think. Oh, yeah, you're going to have to heat this guy up. There's no way around it. That is an annoyance, but it is what it is. Like I said, we see it a lot with other figures. But all three heads look really, really good. Now, getting into the body here a little bit. Where are we going? We're going to start with the chest here. And he's got those beautiful moves, those man boobs you can set your watch to for Abby. He's got nipples on him. We usually don't see those nipples. And those ones look like they could cut glass if need be. But it does look good. That's how I think of Abdullah the Butcher. Or the Headhunters. He can reuse it and make a Headhunters 2-pack. Makes all the sense in the world. He was threatening to do that, I think, in the regular line. And I haven't seen anything from that. But it makes sense. Use that Abby body mold for those guys. Headhunter A and B. But it does look like what I'd imagine Abdullah the Butcher to look like. Now, one thing I can see looking straight on here is we basically have 3 different skin tones, which you don't really notice unless you stare at it, but the chest piece has very light skin tone colors, and then you get a little bit darker on the arms, and then extremely dark in the head. So you got almost 3 different color tones going on here. So that's going to upset some people, I do think. And when you stare at it, it's like you can't unsee it. But if you look at it close, you don't really notice. Maybe that's just me again, but 3 very distinct color tones there. I would have liked to seen that be a little bit more uniform. You got the red elbow pad over here, looking good for Abby, and then you got the taped up hand on the right, and then you got the taped up on the wrist. Same thing going over here on the left. Now, getting down to the pants here, it does say A Butcher, Taekwondo. There it is. There's his ninja moves I was telling you about. Looking good here. You got the red stripe there, and you got the red around the belt, and then all black. Soft goods on this one, so make note of that if you want some soft goods. It doesn't seem to be, I guess they can be removable, but I would never remove these. They never go back on the same. And I don't have Abdullah the Butcher in trunks. Nothing is more horrific from animals when you go to a used toy store and you see that Jakks Abdullah the Butcher and you see no pants on him because they stole the pants off to make a custom Mr. T. And you just see Abdullah the Butcher in some trunks. You're like, oh, some animal did this. I don't want that for the zombie one. You got to keep these on here. Got the big red boots. And he's got some long shoes here. Some big feet on Abdullah the Butcher. You know what they say about guys with big feet, Todd McFarlane? Got the curl on the end. Of course, very classic boots for Abdullah the Butcher. Iron Sheik. Yep, Xavier Woods. You know, all the heavy hitters getting those there. Looks good. And I do like the attention to detail with the zipper on the side here. That looks really nice as well. Articulation-wise, head removable. Not easy to do, as I said. Gonna have to heat it up. Back forth side to side. Arms do go all the way around. Single jointed elbow. We get the side to side on here. Very Super 7S kind of is what it reminds me of. Now, unfortunately, this arm is not budging. I am not getting any budge there. I am not going to force it. I'm not going to break this on camera. I paid too much money for this. I waited too long for this. I'm not going to break it. Not that I ever want to break anything, but you know what I mean. We're going to have to heat that one up. Hands go off very easy, very plug and play style. Kind of remind you of Super 7 once again in the peg. So it kind of gives me that vibe, but those go back in very easily. I wish the head went in and out that easy. But head's not always easy to get, as we do know, Todd, right? It is for me, but maybe not everybody. But I'm having difficulties here. I'm having difficulties. Not going to pull off for me there. You do get the hula hoop here. Very good movement. Nice flow to this Abby. Very tight. No looseness to it. That's exactly how it should be. Legs go decently up, back, forth, down to down, side to side. We'll see that a little bit more with the other figures as he is a little bit hidden behind here. But it does look like we got double jointed pinned knees on this one here. I don't mind the pins on this at all because it's hidden behind here. So I have no issues with that at all. You do get a boot cut, ankles up, down, back, forth, side to side. So our usual articulation as things go there. Looking pretty good. Does he fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand using code Kyle to save 10%? Oh, look at that. Made it to fit with ringside stands. You know I appreciate that as well. Not too shabby. Put that back on. I'm torn how to display this guy. I feel like I need 2 of them in my collection. That's a pricey conquest at this point. So we'll see what happens. But I am hopeful for some repaints for some of these. I think it makes sense. Get the most out of your molds. Get the most out of your properties. I would like to see that. I think you could alternate some colors on this one. Have one a blood and guts version. Have one a regular version. I think that's a license to print money there. I would love to see it. But I do enjoy this Abdullah the Butcher. I knew I would. It did look good from the get-go. Just a few nitpicky things, but as we always say on the channel, constant learning, constant improvement. Where does this go in the future? That's the million-dollar question. Can't wait to see how much better Series 2 is, and we're not even through Series 1 yet, but you know he's going to take learnings from this process and put that into Series 2. We see it with all the toy lines. So very excited for the future of this line. Hope it just turns and burns a little bit faster. We'll see. But let's dive into some Abdullah the Butcher. How about Jakks? Jakks Classic Superstar going hot with Abby. Basically almost the same size right there. Not too different of sizing between these two, so you can kind of see how that goes. Not too bad, not too bad. Constant learning, constant improvement in action here. This is like 18, 19, 20 years ago, this Abdullah the Butcher. And speaking of old-timey Abdullah the Butcher, how about a bloody one from back in the day? Busting out all the Abdullah the Butchers here. Not quite in that line there. Put this one through ECW Original San Francisco Toy Makers if you want to. And speaking of zombies, speaking of Abdullah the Butcher, we do got this version here from the Heels and Faces line. Always like that one as well. Appreciate an Abby whenever we can get it. But now this is where the rubber hits the road, and I was very excited to compare him to Bruiser Brody from Power Town. Yeah, Power Town. You ever heard of them, Todd? Yeah, they took our money, they went to Mexico, they went to Education Connection, they domesticated snapping turtles. They've been doing a lot of stuff. Check out the toy news for the weekly update. But you can see Abby and Bruiser Brody here as I knock everything over. I don't know. I don't know on the scaling here. Obviously, different companies. Brody was much taller. I think this works okay. Brody maybe a hair tall for Abby, just a hair tall. But that's as close as we're going to get in this day and age. However, we do know Bruiser Brody did have a Heels and Faces figure, so could we get him in the Pinnacle? Depends on contracts, but we can see that size difference there. Speaking of big guys, how about we compare him to Yokozuna from the Elite line? A lot of people hoping to put these in with their Elite figures. This is him and Yokozuna. So now, Abby's a big boy. Yokozuna an even bigger boy. And we can see right here, Abby is bigger than Yokozuna. Do with that knowledge what you want. But we can see there is a difference there between them. Maybe a little bit scaled up for your Mattel Elites. I just don't know if that's going to work so hot. But speaking of Mattel Elites, I always think of Cactus Jack with Abby. Look at that size difference. Doesn't really scale together for me. Maybe you, not me. And then, of course, Terry Funk, mentioned him early. Let's go back to those WCW days. Got Terry Funk right there with him. So we can see a little bit bigger than the Elites, a little bit smaller than Power Town is kind of how they're netting out. Almost in scale with Jakks the best, I would say. And I'm guessing a lot of people not going to display these with their Jakks Ruthless Aggression style figures. Who knows? Maybe you're going to be one of those guys. Maybe, maybe not. I guess I do got a Sting here from the Jazzwares line if you wanted to look at that real quick. And we can see that Jazzwares is basically the same kind of scaling, though, as the Mattel figures, as we have seen. But interesting turn of events here. Pinnacle Series 1 finally through the door. You know I'm excited. You know I'm excited to get these legends. A very, very fun figure here with this Abdullah the Butcher. Very small things I'd change. The biggest thing I see is maybe the 3 different skin tone colors. But besides that, it's got everything you'd want with Abdullah the Butcher. It's so good, I would like to have 2 of these to display both different looks. I want a bloody version, war ravaged version, and a way to the ring version is what I do want. I know a lot of people are going to say, I wish he'd scale down, and who knows? We've seen that in the past. Remember Jazzwares UFC? They changed their scaling after the first series. Maybe Zombie will do that as well. Maybe he won't. we'll see what happens in the future. But we're unboxing all these on the channel. We're going to do a lot of different comparisons in every single video, so stay tuned for some of the other comparisons to other toy lines, including Mattel and everything else under the sun. So stay tuned for those. But be very interested to hear your thoughts on this Abdullah the Butcher. You picking it up, you long gaming, you no gaming, you passing, you not so sure. Let me know in the comments down below. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. You probably have all of these unboxings already up there right off the bat as I'm knocking these guys out. So check that out if you want to. And best of all, you do support the channel. Sir Paul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Available where podcasts are found, video cast on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't already. So for Abdullah the Butcher, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?